What if I told you that one woman gave birth to 69 children? Not a typo, not a mistake. 69 children, including multiple sets of twins, triplets, and quadruplets, born to a single mother in 18th century Russia. Her name was Valentina Vassilyev, and her story is one of the most extraordinary and most debated in the history of human reproduction. Here is everything we know, and what historians are still trying to figure out. Valentina Vassilyev was an 18th century Russian woman, believed to have lived in the Shuya region of Russia, a rural area several hundred miles east of Moscow. Beyond that, the historical record on Valentina herself is frustratingly thin. We do not have a confirmed birth date, a portrait, or a detailed biography. What we have is a claim, one that has been passed down through historical accounts for more than 2 centuries, and the extraordinary numbers attached to her name. The claim, as recorded in historical sources, is this. Over the course of her childbearing years, Valentina Vassilyev gave birth to 69 children. But here is where it gets even more remarkable. Almost none of those children came as single births. According to the accounts, she gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. If you do the maths, 2 times 16, plus 3 times 7, plus 4 times 4, that adds up to exactly 69 children. Every single pregnancy in the historical record involved multiple births, not one singleton. To understand just how extraordinary that claim is, it helps to know how rare multiple births actually are. In the modern era, with fertility treatments and advanced reproductive medicine, the rate of twins is approximately 1 in 30 births. Quadruplets, rarer still. The probability of a single woman giving birth to 16 sets of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets, entirely naturally in the 18th century, is almost impossibly small by any statistical measure. And yet, the accounts exist. The most frequently cited source for Valentina's story is a report said to have been submitted to the Moscow Academy in 1783, which documented the extraordinary case of a peasant woman in the Shuya district and the remarkable number of children she had borne. The account was reportedly noted by the monastery of Nikolsk, which kept records of local births. But here is where historians begin to raise questions. The original documents have never been definitively located or independently verified by modern scholars. The account comes to us largely through secondary sources, references to references, rather than a clear, unbroken chain of documentation. To evaluate Valentina's story fairly, it helps to understand the world she was living in. 18th century rural Russia was a world without modern medicine, without reliable birth control, and without systematic record-keeping in the way we understand it today. Families were large by necessity. Children provided labor, and infant and child mortality rates were devastatingly high. A woman giving birth to many children and losing many of them was not unusual. What was unusual, if the records are accurate, was the extraordinary proportion of multiple births. Record-keeping in rural Russian monasteries was also inconsistent. Numbers could be rounded, exaggerated, misremembered, or lost entirely over centuries of retelling. Historians who have examined Valentina's story tend to approach it with a mixture of fascination and caution. The core problem is verification. Without the original monastery records or independent corroborating documentation, the claim of 69 children cannot be definitively confirmed by modern standards of historical evidence. It is also worth noting that the story has all the hallmarks of a tale that may have grown in the retelling. The perfectly round numbers, the absence of even a single singleton birth, and the lack of surviving primary documentation all give careful historians pause. That does not mean the story is false. It means we cannot know for certain that it is true. And yet, Valentina Vassilyev's story continues to fascinate. It appears in books, encyclopedias, and discussions of world records to this day. It raises questions that go far beyond the numbers themselves. What was daily life like for a woman giving birth to 69 children in rural Russia? How did she and her husband feed, clothe, and care for that many children? How many of those children survived? What did she feel? Even if the numbers are an exaggeration, even if the true figure was half of 69, the life of this woman would still be one of the most remarkable in recorded history. History, after all, is not only about what we can prove. It is also about what the stories we tell reveal about the people who told them. Valentina Vassilyev, an 18th century Russian woman, 69 children, 16 sets of twins, 7 sets of triplets, 4 sets of quadruplets. Verified with certainty? No. Forgotten? Not quite. Absolutely not. Whether the numbers are precisely accurate or not, Valentina Vassilyev stands as one of the most remarkable figures in the history of motherhood. A woman whose story, more than 2 centuries later, still stops people in their tracks and makes them ask, wait, really? If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please subscribe so you don't miss our next update.